Hey everyone, Ash here. This is my interview with Fabrice Condominas from the EA press event last week. There is some audio issues. I have had to bump it a couple of times because it is very quiet. Hopefully it's at a point now where you'll be able to hear what Fabrice has to say in answer to the questions I asked him. It will get a bit messy in some areas, mainly because it was in a wide open room where people kept travelling through the room and were talking and things like that. That was something that I couldn't avoid, unfortunately. And there is also some minor banging at points, but it only kind of flips in and out for a few seconds. So hopefully it doesn't detract from your enjoyment of the video. I do hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you all very soon. So hey everyone, this is Ash from MEOdyssey. I'm here with Fabrice Condominas, producer at Mass Effect. How you doing?
Pretty good, thank you. Tired now, but pretty good.
Yeah, it's been a long few days for you. I think you've been, Germany, France, and now the UK. With Andromeda being so close, and 5 years of work, 5 long years, and bringing basically a whole new story, whole new adventure to Mass Effect. How are you and the studio feeling, being 5 weeks away?
Tired. That's the first thing. Tired because we keep fixing as many bugs as we can and keep it tweaking. We're kind of perfectionists, so everything we can do, even now, for a few weeks before, we're still trying to do it. But excited, obviously. I've been now touring the world for 3 days, but the important point of that tour is not only talking to people like you, which is great, but it's also seeing people outside of the team, outside of the studio, outside of the company, actually playing the game. Yeah. Because you shape that for years and years and years, and at the end, you will have a doubt. You don't know how people will like it or not, and you're so much into it, then there's a point also where you don't see anything anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And keep doing so. Now I see people playing it, so that's great. And then there's also that weird feeling of, when I wake up March 21st, what do I do?
Yeah. I was going to say, actually, is there a point where you get to release and then you can suddenly take like a month break or something? But
I'm going to sleep for a month, probably.
Use one of the cryopods, it'll be fine. So, is there any kind of at least a few butterflies, at least, maybe?
Obviously, yes. This is important, and not only because we've been working on it for 5 years, but because the entire team are Mass Effect fans, and people tend to forget that the developers are fans. A lot of us are working on Mass Effect because we love the franchise. Yeah. So it's not only about the reception, but it's also about the future of the franchise and being proud to be able to hopefully continue that legacy.
In terms of the Frostbite engine, Frostbite 3, one of probably the last games to move over to the engine now. And I think when I was talking to Liam there, I think that's all the main games for EA now on the Frostbite 3 engine. From a player's perspective, what are the benefits of moving Mass Effect over to that engine?
Oh, there's quite a bit. So if we talk about from a player perspective, first, you've just played for more than 2 hours. I think you can speak to the visual.
Nearly 4, I'll be honest.
4 hours already. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you can talk to, for example, the visual fidelity of the environments, the depth of the environment, the quality of the lighting. This is Frostbite. Compared to, it's not only that the technology have evolved and that we have very talented artists, which we have, but it's also the tool, right? Yeah. Animation system, for example, in-game animation, that's a lot of it was taken from Frostbite and allowed us to push that further. You benefit from what all the other teams are doing. So, for example, you call it the Nomad. When we start working on the Nomad, we actually send build to the Criterion guys, saying, "Hey, can you give us some advice? Because suddenly you share a tool." So not only they can give you advice, but they can tell you, "No, you go to that sub menu that we did for blah blah blah, and you tweak that." Obviously, for them, the Nomad felt slow, but we had to tell them that that's not the purpose. Yeah. But you see what I mean. So when you share an engine, I think the overall player-facing consequences are quality nearly all over the place. And Frostbite is an extremely powerful engine. It's an engine that is extremely complex to work with. But when you saw the end result, again, you played 4 hours. I'll let you the only judge of what you see.
Yeah. No, it's definitely been something that has been an eye-opener. It looked good in the trailers, it looked good in all the videos that come out. Obviously, I've played bits that have been in the trailers, Kadara Station, things like that. But when you see it on the screen, like like a foot in front of your face, I've not been able to take my eyes off it the entire time, to be honest, really. Big Mass Effect fan, as you can tell. Channel basically runs on Mass Effect stuff at the moment. But yeah, it's been like a real eye-opener just to see not only the fact that the engine is new, but it's still Mass Effect. It's not then changed up in that sense.
That's a huge challenge outside of the engine. Is when you, for example, if you talk about art direction, you tell someone you're in a brand new galaxy, you will have brand new aliens, which mean that you have to design the aliens, but they will have their own architecture, for example, and all that is new. But if I take a screenshot of any of these alien buildings, I want people to recognize Mass Effect.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's hell of a challenge, right? And when Joel McMillan, our art director, faced that challenge, that's not an easy thing to take. I hope the result is there. Again, I'll let you judge that. But yes, and Mass Effect has always been also about quality and beautiful environments, and definitely something that Frostbite pushed that further.
Yeah, no. Some of my favourite moments were in Mass Effect 2, when you just kind of, and I think specifically one was Zaid's side mission, and you just get to the planet that he wants to go to for his thing, and you just look out, and because I'm a big nerd for space as well, I just look out and think, that's kind of cool. And then I landed on Ilarden as well, and you got the same thing. You got like 3 planets and a moon maybe as well, and it's
and we also designed, for example, the Tempest bridge, the bridge of your ship is all open, so you can see space around and all that sort of stuff.
That's something that myself and the community manager here noticed when he came over to see how it was going. I said, they say that the Tempest is smaller, but it feels massive inside. Because, and I said to him, it's because it's just open spaces. It's just big open spaces, and I love the fact that you can see down the Tempest from inside. So you can look outside and just see the whole ship going down, and that's just like, you didn't have that with the Normandy. So,
elevators.
But in terms of kind of moving on to a more kind of another player-based kind of focus, what would you say to someone who maybe hasn't played the trilogy, or they are undecided on Andromeda? What would you say to them? Maybe they're still interested in playing the game, but they're still not quite there yet.
If you're a curious person that puts a lot of importance in the quality and the emotional relationship that you build with other, and I want to go through an entertaining but meaningful space adventure, this is a game for you.
I think I definitely, I only got to one point that was maybe slightly verging on the romantic side of things.
Usually they catch quickly.
And it wasn't quite the one I expected. I was like, okay, it's fine, I can do this. But I did get to meet a host of characters. I got to see Vetra and PV and so many others, and I know that Rima, my friend who I run the channel with, is going to be very happy that the co-pilot is Scottish, because she's also Scottish, so she'll be very happy to hear that.
You know that diversity among everything has always been a signature of Mass Effect.
Exactly, exactly. And is Vetra, that was it. That was the romantic moment, and it was just like, oh, there's a romantic option. Okay. And just went down the road. She went, yeah, maybe you come back later. And I was like, yeah, maybe I will. Okay. Now, I know this event is more focused on the single player. But in terms of the multiplayer, you said at the beginning that it was very much in the same style of Mass Effect 3, which, from my perspective, a lot of people absolutely love the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. It's something they could play with their friends, go back to it over and over and over again. With Mass Effect 3, obviously, there was a heavier tie with the story. There is that again this time, and not anywhere near as there is a small connection.
There is no mechanical connection, so you don't need to play multiplayer to do anything. Even in multiplayer, we're still Bioware, so we can help it. We make narrative ties and we make little hints and all that. So you will have all that. Another difference is that Mass Effect 3 multiplayer success actually took us a bit by surprise. We didn't expect such positive reactions. So this time I would say that we're also better prepared to keep the content going on and keep the multiplayer rolling. Exactly. And we will again put a bit more focus on a bit, let's say, narrative touch to the multiplayer. Effects.
So a connection, but again, like you said, nothing that's going to have a detrimental effect on the main story. So that's good. And would it be a similar plan in terms of releasing content for the multiplayer, like it was Mass Effect 3, maps and bonus?
It will even be more aggressive this time. Because again, Mass Effect 3 took us a bit by surprise. So this time we're just more prepared, and we know we have to maintain that multiplayer, and hopefully we'll have the amount of people to get it. So yes, there is. We don't release details, but there is a plan to maintain.
But another question I wanted to ask as well was, being on the more community side of things, what's your favourite thing about the community?
Passion. I mean, for me, it's just an easy one. For the better or the worse, but it's not important. The important part is that people have a trouble sometimes realizing that when we say we're making a game for them, it's not actually a cheesy image. It's just true. It's as if we lose people like that with that. So if you make games, even if they're, let's say, commercially successful, but nobody really care, it has a very different dimension.
Yeah.
Or when people, even if someone is calling you out, say, hang on, but if someone takes the time to tell you, look, I was disappointed by X, it's because he loves the rest of it. It's because he's passionate about it.
Yeah.
And we also receive people that tell us basically, you changed my life. And people don't realize that as creators, how important those things are. When you work, for example, 5 years on a game, this is a very long time. And believe me, over those 5 years, there will be a lot of moments where you're just down. And when you say, we should just drop the ball. This is not going to be good. Yeah. This is not all that. And suddenly you walk in the street and someone say, oh, you have an N7 hoodie. This is my favorite game. And this is why I changed my life. And you go back to your office like, if I drop that game, I let those guys down.
Yeah.
And this is huge motivation. So I can't thank you guys enough for what you do.
And I think something I've noticed ever since a lot more characters have been revealed is the artwork is just through the roof at the moment. So, one quick question. I know I'm not going to get an answer for this, and I haven't seen them in the play. But are there?
He knows he's not going to get an answer. But he's asking.
I'm going to ask it anyway. But are there any Quarians? Because everyone's asking.
You will not get an answer to
that. That's basically it. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.